to the Third Touch Soccer Podcast. My name is Sam Leamy. I'm here with Connor Walsh and Michael McLaughlin, post-United States Honduras. How excited are you guys?
Ecstatic. The fan base is ecstatic. The supporters are ecstatic. All is well in our great country.
I mean, we definitely predicted this, right, Mike? A 6-0
no,
win?
I did. I predicted it. No, I don't know. It was ridiculous, dude. I was at a bar in Brooklyn. You know, it's hard, man, to see what's really going on in the game. We're at the bars because it's just so many people, and you get so like when you get a first goal, it puts you in such a good mood. You start to make everything so positive that like, oh my God, we're amazing. You know, it was a great game though, man.
Were you ready for the game? Like watching it? Were you invested in the game as soon as that first goal went in?
Yeah, I got a spot. I was there with like 4 or 5 friends. We got a nice little spot. We had nobody in front of us. And being at 10:45 at night was actually kind of cool because you could have a whole night of like, you know, going, you know, in New York and then you could do all the other stuff and then still watch the game. It wasn't like, you know what it's like when you got a game at 7 on a Friday. It's kind of like annoying. This one was I kind of liked it. How was the bar?
Oh, the bar was crazy. I mean, I went down to work, Connor stayed at home, but it's really hard when you're working, interacting with people, want to talk, and you know, and then you show your face and do your thing and walk around and pretend.
You gotta show a lot of face.
Exactly. So the magic numbers 34. Clint Dempsey back in the starting lineup, great performance. Jermaine Defoe today back on the score sheet, back in the England first team. Mike.
What?
We're older lads.
Well, I thought we were gonna go Pulisic. All right.
We're older lads. You know, these guys are coming at 34. What was the hardest thing for you to overcome when you were around that age? I know you think I'm obsessed with age, but
you are obsessed with age. But
Connor,
this
this is coming, Connor. By the way.
No, it's not coming, Connor. It's only coming if you're like Sam. You're obsessed with age. Anybody and my cousin's obsessed with it too. Anyone that's successful, he immediately Googles them to find out their date of birth to then, you know, judge himself accordingly. He's like, this person's 2 years younger than me, and they're doing this well in life. Oh, he does one of those.
That's irrelevant. Everyone's in a different situation. Age is just a number.
Like, you're in competition with yourself, bro.
Yeah. If you base your success around other people's age, you're gonna fail.
No, but I will say this: when you do get over 30, I don't know, just life gets. I don't know, it's more serious, but I think. I just think he just knows what he's doing, and probably now. I don't really know if there's any real obstacle.
Is this kind of like the last stretch for these players to kind of prove themselves in their respective careers? You know, Dempsey's kind of on the last stretch. Jermaine Defoe.
What do they have to prove at 34? Like, everyone knows what they can do. Everyone knows what they're capable of, and they're still doing it, which is the more interesting part. It's not the fact that there's nothing left for them to prove.
Before we get into Dempsey, can we fucking explain to people what happened? Like, what the game? Like, what if someone didn't watch the game?
A huge game on Friday, USA.
Yeah,
3 points. Third
game. Let me do this. All right, listen.
Third game in the Hex. 6-0 Honduras, blown away. Thought it was going to be a tight game. Great lineup, new era with Bruce Arena.
That's what I want to ask. Connor, when that lineup came out, right, and you saw they had 4. With Bradley right in front, and with Nagby and Pulisic, and the Leggett, and what did you feel when you saw the lineup come out?
I was excited. I think I texted our little podcast group chat and said the lineup is brilliant. I mean, it was the exact lineup that I wanted. You know, a few injuries. Yedlin wasn't there. Would have liked Yedlin at right back instead of Jeff Cameron. Cameron's more of a center back these days, I think, but. All in all, with the players that were available, it was, you know, for once I felt like we were going into a game with the correct team selected, and with the players available, it was by far the best possible lineup. And these players, I think, showed it that, you know, this is a squad that can win games.
I do. When I saw the lineup come out, I was like, this is the first time I've looked at a lineup where I was excited in, I think, a year and a half. Yeah. Where I was like, yeah, this is what I want to see too. Or,
dude, every game under Klinsmann, there was 1 or 2 players where you're just stuck shaking your head. And you go into the game with the negativity in your head to start off off the bat. This was a game I was like, yo, we have a fire. I was watching it with my boys, and I'm like, yo, dude, our team is low-key sick. Like, for what it is, like, that is a solid team. Like, the best of the MLS, the European players thrown in. Like, it is a squad. and they went on and won 6-0 and played some of the best soccer that I don't know, maybe I've ever seen the national team play over the course of 90 minutes. That was as good as it gets, and it just kept getting better as the night went on. It was just crazy, and the quality of the goals was crazy.
So put Klinsmann in charge. If Klinsmann was in charge of this game, I mean, there's two noticeable players in that starting lineup that definitely wouldn't have started. Like Darlington Nagbe wouldn't have started, and Sebastian Lletget wouldn't have started. Obviously, the first goal was scored by Lletget. Was there any other members in that starting lineup that, if Klinsmann was in charge, wouldn't have appeared?
I don't think so. I think that was,
maybe the left back,
Villafana.
Yeah,
Villafana probably would have, because Klinsmann liked foreign players. And I think Villafana was just starting to pop up on his radar. But
I would say when you saw, but here's the thing, Nagbe was the big one to me, seeing him in there, and then who made the first real good run about 3 minutes into the game, where he took the ball from one side of the pitch to the other through the midfield, and it didn't really amount to anything really, but it was just exciting to see him with confidence going forward. I thought Nagbe played the most underrated best game of all the players out there, because he didn't, no goals, no assists, but just he drew the defense to him almost all the times. I thought he played great.
I mean,
Nagbe can
go on.
Well, what I was gonna say, what Nagbe can bring to the national team in that wing position, not as a true winger, is, I think, very important, and he showed it. Constantly cutting in with the ball, looking to link with the midfielders, and Villafana and Nagbe on that left side were absolutely brilliant. I thought but between the two of them, they didn't misplace one pass. Both players at 100% pass completion rates, and I'm sure a lot of those passes were to each other. So that could be a partnership to build on going forward. And the left side was just so strong, and both of those players looked, very, very good and up for it.
Well, does that give Bruce Arena now a selection headache with Fabian Johnson obviously unavailable for this game, with Villafana and Nagbe on that left-hand side, and Villafana proving that he can play there and proving that he can be consistent there? What option does that give to Fabian Johnson when he comes back in?
I think what it does is that, I think Fabian Johnson's a better left back, but Bruce has already said that he wants to play Johnson at midfield. So I think you can just put Johnson can play left or the right. Nagbe can play left or the right. So maybe you move Lletget or who came in when Lletget got injured? Philadelphia Union. Bedoya. You move them off and let Nagbe and Johnson be on the wings. I don't know, Connor. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to be. I don't think that Fabian Johnson is looked at as a outside back under Bruce Arena. For better or for worse, but that's just the situation, and it's going to be hard. I think Nagbe needs to be starting, and I really do. And even if that means, Lletget had a good game. Unfortunate that he got hurt and had to leave the game after scoring his first goal for the national team and his first World Cup qualifier after impressing so much back in January. It's a tough blow, but it's going to have to be him in the midfield with probably Lletget sitting on the bench and maybe Nagbe on the right.
I think what really, as long as we have those the back four, and I thought John Brooks played a great game too. Went the dehydration thing, but with those back four, and now with Michael Bradley, Bradley didn't have to be on the ball with Pulisic in front of him. You didn't see Bradley sitting on the ball all day, like when we complained about the last couple games that they played. Bradley played so well, perfect, and I think as long as the back four is solid with Bradley in front of them, I really think you can't go wrong with Nagbe or Johnson or anything with Pulisic up top. I don't see a negative in any lineup choices there, other than taking Pulisic out, which would be good.
Well, do you think there was a concern there when the lineout came out and it was just like, oh, Bradley's that only guy in that defensive midfield position, and then you had all those other attacking options, Nagbe on the left, Lletget on the right. We didn't know Christian Pulisic was going to play up the middle, and then Dempsey obviously starting, coming back into the team. It was a crazy formation. Connor and I spoke about how they should, from the off, attack, because Honduras were going to play that back five, and luckily for the USA, they got that early goal and got the ball rolling. But Pulisic playing in that number 10 role, it couldn't have worked out better. Absolutely couldn't have worked out better. Great game.
Sick, dude.
It was so
sick,
good.
Dude.
Well, how excited were you, Mike? How exciting.
Dude, I feel like I've been telling me about this kid for over a year, and now I have people texting me, "Oh, the kid's pretty good, dude. Saw him on Sports Center, bro." Like everybody's, it's like you almost made a, it's almost like you made a bet on a stock way early, and now it's coming to fruition. He was so good, but I mean, honestly, on the when you rewatch the game, he actually gives the ball up quite a few times.
That's
more than
what's
you see
one.
him,
I want to make a point on that because I had that.
more than you see him
written
do it
down
at
on my
Dortmund.
notes.
Yeah.
He gave in the first 20 minutes. He was on the ball, only completed 5 out of 10 passes, and it was noticeable that he was shaky. But you have to credit his mental toughness after starting a game poorly. 20 minutes of not playing great, to go on to have the game he had. That shows a lot of maturity to be able to not mentally fold and get better. I mean, I gained a lot of respect for him.
One thing I actually noted about that when I was watching the game live, I started yelling. First of all, it was a raining, wet pitch, and the pitch is probably a different quality than he's been used to playing in Dortmund and Germany. I actually think he wasn't used to the pitch and the ball, and it just took him a time to get it all figured out. Because you're right, once the second half started, I mean, he dominated the whole second half. It was.
I mean, his range of passing, his assist for that Clint Dempsey goal was out of this world. But even the first goal, when he kind of bundled his way through, he gave up the ball and chased after it and made something happen for that first goal. And with the save and the jet following up, it was a dream start for the USA. Did you expect Honduras to be this bad throughout the whole game, or do you think USA played the best they could?
I think they played the best they could because I don't want to slate Honduras at all. They made it to the last 2 World Cups, so obviously there's some quality there to make it to the World Cup and get through qualifying. But I really think the U.S. were just clicking and running on all cylinders, and it was just such a comprehensive, complete performance from top to bottom. Could have Honduras had a couple? Yes, they had some somewhat decent looks, but all in all, you really couldn't have asked for a better night, and especially with, I believe it was a -5 goal differential.
Yeah.
After the first 2 games, literally, this Friday night could not have gone better for the national team, which is something that we haven't been saying in the last 4, 5, 6 years, however long it was under Klinsmann. So it's just very refreshing, and it was very, very exciting for this new era to start.
2 things. One, I think I might be wrong, but I think they said that the most USA has ever won a hex game by is 3-0 in a blowout, right? In the hex.
Yep.
So this isn't a bad team. It's not like we're playing, Kevitz, and it's not like we're playing
Say Kitts and Nevis.
I could never say that country's name. Saint Kitts. Like Honduras is a good team, and you know what? We can't go too crazy because we got an early goal, and if you're playing a back 5 like they are, and you give up an early goal, well, now your whole game plan's thrown out the window if you're Honduras. So good on us, but it's if the game was 0-0 for 20 minutes, maybe Honduras would have had a few more chances and had a little more confidence, but they didn't. So, and give it up for Josie. I thought he played great, man. Sitting back, how many nice little balls did he play through? I mean, he set up the first goal, and his ball right at the beginning of the second half to set up.
I think with his passing, and even though he didn't get on the score sheet, his passing for the first goal and definitely his movement for the second goal when he just took those 2 defenders away and just opened that space up for Michael Bradley, because there was a couple of Honduras defenders were like, okay, there's a few movements, they didn't know where Pulisic was going, they didn't know where Altidore was going. And then I think one defender kind of maybe looked at Michael Bradley and was like, oh, yeah, this guy doesn't score for the USA with his left foot from 30 yards or 25 yards or however far out. And Bradley just saw that gap and,
nice one. That was
did a great shot across the goal.
That was the most surprising
goal. What a great goal. I mean, what a great goal. That was only his 16th goal on 129 caps, so he doesn't score often, but that was great.
One more thing, too, on Josie. He actually even set up the goal that Pulisic sent that beautiful pass. I think it was the 5th goal. Actually Josie,
the first 20 seconds of the second half.
Yeah, Josie had a really nice move along the left-hand side, dropped his shoulder, tricked out the defender, and went. Josie had a great game, and despite not being on the score sheet, he was low-key pulling the strings up top almost, where he was creating chances for their players and his passes and his balls, and like Sam said, the way he was running to pull defenders. He had a very, very smart, effective game, and shame he didn't get on the score sheet because he deserved it. But all things considered, Josie was one of our best players.
And let me ask you this question. Now, does a game like, because I'm of the opinion that Josie was used wrong in England. I do. I think if he played more, he's a much better player now, hold up play.
Mm-hmm.
But, having, guys, winger, being able to play the ball like that, I think he could have been, they try to use him as a real target striker, like the last guy to be on the ball. And, and they would just send, when he was at Hull and when he was at Sunderland, they just played the ball to him. No one really helped out. And then they blamed him when he didn't score.
Definitely with the USA, he's probably in his element with that national team. Even with playing at Toronto, he plays as a target man. But he's been in that.
But Javinko's making runs all the time, so he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, he's been in that USA team for 10 years now, 9 years, and he's so comfortable. And what I liked about his performance, he didn't get frustrated at any point of the game. And you see that Josie Altidore throwing his arms in the air and getting really frustrated. But I think he was such a team player on Friday. I can't comment. I don't know how that's going to translate to the Premier League. I don't think he was ready to go over there. The hype when he was in the Dutch league obviously got him that transfer.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for him. He's had a couple of goes in the Premier League. Maybe it's not over, Mike. Maybe it's not over. Hull are going to get relegated again and then come back up and maybe. He's
only 27 years old, which is shocking. He's been famous for 11 years. So, think about that. Pulisic's only 18. He's going to be the kid's famous. He's going to be part of the USA soccer team for the next 14 years. Barring injuries or anything like that.
Sam, how are you after this game? I know that you like to joke about Pulisic, where like, what has he really, really done? Like, what of substance? Are you at this point on board with the Pulisic train? Like, what are your thoughts on Pulisic after seeing how important he was Friday night? And I get it, it's one game, but after he's been playing so well for Dortmund, which you've seen, I think you'll respect that. His goal in the Champions League a few weeks ago, and now this performance. Where do you think? Like, what are your thoughts on him now? Are you on board, or are you still hesitant?
The two things that are going to impress me the most about Pulisic wasn't his goal. Isn't one of them, was his 2 assists. That chip through to Dempsey, and that thread the needle pass.
Oh, the weight on that pass
for an 18-year-old kid to do that in such a high pressure game. And I know he's had a good run in the Dortmund first team since Marco Reus has been injured. That flick over the defender to Dempsey and how Dempsey took it down with his chest and smashed it in the top corner, that's world class. That's world class. That's a world class assist, and that's a world class finish. And I guess it was a surprise for Dempsey to start, but if Bruce Arena looked and analysed Dempsey...
Well, it really wasn't, though.
He's Dempsey. I don't think...
Bobby Wood was hurt, and then Jordan Morris clearly wasn't fit to play because Morris has been sent home. He's off the roster right now. So obviously he wasn't fit to play, but yeah, okay, I get what you're saying though.
But even so, he's been away from football for a while. He had a serious heart condition, and he's played 3 games in the MLS right now. And I haven't seen every single game, but I've heard reports he just got better and better and better in each of those games. And if Bruce Arena saw him in the training sessions and got the approval from the doctors and medical staff, to play Dempsey from the start, and even if he gave like 50, 60 minutes in that game, that's good enough, because Dempsey's not really a off-the-bench kind of player, is he? He's not really...
No, he's not the speed. He's not going to come out there and just like... you want Jordan Morris, I think. Someone who's like going to physically just impact the game,
Yeah, and Dempsey's not the fastest guy. He will say that himself, and to play him from the start and the way he played, and obviously getting that hat-trick was... dreamland.
One thing about Dempsey too is just out of all the U.S. players of ever, nobody has ever surpassed his potential except for Clint Dempsey. Every other player we've ever had. Pulisic might be one of the Pulisic and Donovan. Donovan probably reaches his potential. Dempsey, wherever he goes, he actually, other than the stint at Tottenham for that half a season, everywhere Dempsey goes, he surpasses what people think he could do. When he went to New England, they didn't know he'd be this good. And then when he went to Fulham, he had trouble even getting on the team his first year there. He scored that one goal to save him in the relegation, and then 2 seasons later he's their best player for 2 years. I love Dempsey because he just fights and whatever he lacks in athleticism, he just makes up for in skill and tenacity.
Well, you saw that on the goal that Pulisic assist. It was the third goal overall on that chip. Dempsey was fighting so hard. This probably could have been called a penalty potentially with the way the center back was holding him. And he was bodying Figueroa from FC Dallas, and it was just so strong, and the finish was great. And this guy's 34 years old and is fighting still. Like it was. Dempsey is by far my favorite national team player ever, because I just love the dude. He just fights and he works hard, and he's a slum footballer.
He hasn't
like Nacogdoches, Texas.
He hasn't had to adapt his game from 10 years ago. He's still the same player like he was 10 years ago. Come on, that finish in the top corner, that's shit that he was doing 7-8 years ago for Fulham.
Yeah, for Fulham, I know. That I want to get that free kick too. But I watched this game with I'll give a shout out to Julian G, comedian, great, hilarious comedian. So Julian, he's not a soccer guy, but he's with me that night. So we're watching it, and he's like trying to, he's trying to get in. I'm telling him, oh, this 18-year-old kid, oh, he's so good. Oh, this guy. He's just like, yeah, whatever, give him another beer, And we're watching it, and then he just goes, yo, but I like that dude. And it was Dempsey. Before the game, he's like, I like that dude. I'm like, yo, he is the most likable. He's the most probably the most. This is weird to say, but most like American players we have. Like, have you ever seen Dempsey take a dive?
No,
dude. Dempsey loves a scrap. He loves it, dude. Like, I love the dude. Shout out to Deuce, man.
And the way he's played his game throughout his career, it's been the American way, and he's proud to be American. He's proud to put on that jersey. He's come to Europe. He's not trying to be a European player. He's not trying to impress anyone. It's Clint Dempsey, and that's what you get. And like I just said, he hasn't changed from the way he's played from 10 years ago. His style of play is the same, and the way he goes about every game. I mean, come on, 2 years ago he's playing in the US Open Cup, and his passion levels through the roof. I mean, he gets banned for what? What did he do?
He's a lifetime ban. Isn't a lifetime? So Clint Dempsey currently has a lifetime ban from the U.S. Open Cup for a derby match in the Cup against Portland. He ripped up the referee's book that he keeps all the bookings in, tore it to shreds in the field, and he's done. He's never gonna play in the Open Cup again. It's just, dude, it's Deuce, man. Open Cup game, ripping the thing to shreds, and it's classic. It's classic. He loves it.
Also, back to that free kick though, Sam. On that free kick, from your experience watching soccer, was there anything the keeper could have done? Did he play it?
Yeah, I think that.
I
think so.
The keeper is going to get his hand to that.
As much as it was a well-placed free kick, and the way he curved it in, I mean, the goalkeeper was flat-footed, should we say? Yeah. And the goalkeeper obviously didn't have the best game. He looked like Mr. Invisible in that goal. Yeah. He was. He made a jump from a standing position. He didn't move his feet, and it was a slow motion kick to the top corner, and it was well placed. I'm not gonna take anything away from Clint Dempsey. He put it where he wanted to put it, and he did it how he wanted to do it.
He knew it was good when he hit it. He started celebrating as soon as he hit it. If you watch the replay.
I was watching the highlights again this morning, and Bradley did the same thing. Bradley shot it and immediately started running, and it was like, I love it when the players just know the ball is going in.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And
cool,
dude, so Messi scored that same goal, that same free kick, but from the opposite side with his opposite with his inner foot. I guess if that makes sense, where he curves it I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? It's the same type of goal from the other side of the field against Atletico Madrid 4 years ago. I remember watching it and being like, that is the best free kick I have ever seen in my life. Just to kick it with your instep and have it curve. I don't even know. But
it has to curve actually 3 to 4 feet in front of the keeper. If he really wants to get his hand on it, he's got to go forward rather than to the side. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it starts out to the left of the goalkeeper and ends up in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, by the time it hits the plane of the goal, it's all the way over to the right. So if order you want to get it, you actually got to go up. Because it's curvy, you got to actually go get it. He did. The keeper went to his left. He stepped to the left. It was over.
Once you make that one step to the wrong side, it's over. The only thing about the free kick was the speed. It just looked like it was in slow motion. But, you know, Clint Dempsey now, he's only 2 goals away from Landon Donovan's record for the national team.
That was funny. Did you listen to Donovan talk? They were talking about that on the
Really?
Yeah, they brought up as a joke. He's like, well, because he scored the first one. Like Clint, he's actually Landon, he's only 4 behind you, and by the end he's 2. It got a little awkward because Donovan was like, take that graphic down. Like he said,
Yo,
it as a joke. I really
Sam,
felt like he was having a bit of like, oh fuck. And I could feel like I think he's probably doing squats and runs sprints right now to get back out there.
Sam, I know that you were at the bar, so we play the sound at the bar, but you really can't hear anything because there's so many people and the sound is like literally blaring. But Mike, I'm sure you said you watched the game a few times.
Yeah.
Landon Donovan might be the worst commentator in the history of the game. I am sorry, but there was like I was watching the game with my friends and my room was quiet. So
you watch
really hear.
Your goddamn mouth.
Dude, he was shocking, and the simplicity. He would like make the craziest little observations that were like, "All right, thanks, Landon. No one needed to know that. Move on."
I kind of go too. His voice sounds so similar to Stuart Holden. They're both a little high pitched. You know, they don't have a lot of bass in their voice, so they sound similar. So I was kind of actually didn't know who was talking sometimes. And then you hear that, you know Donovan by the end of his like sentences, you know it's him, but. He's good. I mean, he's not bad. Whatever. I know what you mean. Like, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the 3-man broadcast because NBC Sports does it too. When they do the whole squad, Arlo White, Lee Dixon, and Graham Lasso, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the 3-man broadcast. I'm not sure if it's necessary.
I think it's good when they have a really nice like rapport. Like I love. I don't even know if they do it anymore. Ian Dark and Macca.
They do. They do it for BT Sport together.
Oh, they do. Okay. Steve McManaman for BT Sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Landon Donovan announced his re-retirement again this week. So there's no career in commentating for this guy.
I don't know. He'll probably. I don't know. I don't find him that bad. I don't. I just thought he's too similar to Stuart Holden. They need to be on different broadcasts.
Well, they sound similar, but I think Stuart Holden is.
He's good.
Exceptional. I think he's really, really good. As far as color commentary, he's the best we have in Americans. As far as the game commentary, he's the best. Because I mess with Kyle Martino a lot at NBC, but Stu is great, man. He knows his stuff and he's insightful. It doesn't come across as
Kyle Martino has the best hairline I've ever seen on a man.
Oh, it's brilliant, dude. He's a handsome man.
Jamie Vardy's just scored for England 2-0.
There you go.
Lithuania.
Martino's hairline's so good it looks like a lesbian's hairline. It's just it's got lesbian hair.
You guys sound so excited about this performance, and as an England fan, there's no player in that England team where I'm getting excited about. Like Mike, your smile and the way you've been speaking about Pulisic's performance since Friday. There's so much excitement to have because he has another 14, 15 years left in his career, and God knows what he can achieve. You know,
do you think he's honestly from watching that game? Does he walk on the England team right now?
100%.
100%, right?
100%.
The thing that I think people are starting to realize about Pulisic is not only is he like the best American talent, but like he's a legitimately exciting young talent in Europe for like clubs to go on and sign. Like he's not just like, oh great, another exciting American who may have some potential. He's one of the brightest young stars, and this is widely recognized across Europe, and he's going to do great things. And you know, it's the fact that he is American is brilliant. But
also too, no one even brought it up, but like when he got super confident in the second half after he threaded the needle on that one play, it was his run and his step over that got the free kick. That Dempsey got the free kick goal. So even kind of in a weird way, you got the assist on that, you know. So
do you want to see him in this role every game now, like the number 10 role?
Yeah, you want him on the ball more than anybody else. So yeah. Even if it has a bad game, they triple team him and he plays poorly because they're just hacking him. I just want him on the ball.
And I think that's one of the reasons why that he did lose the ball a few times, especially in that first goal, because he was double and triple teamed.
Yeah.
Many times he was definitely the most dangerous player. He was the light switch in that team, and if he does have that bad game, but even if it doesn't work, he's versatile. So he can go to the left, he can go to the right, he can play in other positions, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Go on, Connor. Sorry for interrupting you.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to say like how I was so impressed by him because not only did he play well on the ball, but his movement and the space he created and the space he ran into, and the kid is a smart player, man. He knows how to play the game, and he was just such a good job as a number 10. And I think the most telling thing is that, and I don't know if it would have been this way under Klinsmann, is Bruce Arena obviously trusts Pulisic enough to start him as an 18-year-old in an extremely high-pressure game. You know what I mean? Like high pressure on the players, high pressure on the new manager, and he trusts him enough to throw him out there at 18 years old. And Pulisic repaid him for that trust. And I don't know if Klinsmann is playing him in that same situation. I really don't. And I'm just happy to see that Bruce, he gets it. He sees it. And
there's no way Klinsmann would play him there because he played him there in the Mexico game, and it was actually, if you watch that game, Pulisic was the only bright spot. Mm-hmm. And so I think that he wouldn't have done it because he doesn't want to, he would probably do something different. But I mean, I think what's cool about Pulisic more than anything is, and just from performing and being he's mentally, you can just tell mentally he's on another level. That's way more rare than all the speed and the touch and all that stuff and finishing ability. The fact how he mentally approaches, you can tell he feels he belongs, and not in like a douchey way. He's not like feeling superior. He's just like, oh, this is what I do. I play soccer at this level. And
his demeanor is, at 18 years old, he could be like a lot of other people and be like a punk, obnoxious, throwing his money away, banging girls, which he could be doing one way or the other, but still,
he's definitely
like he definitely is. Shout out to Pulisic.
Shout out, he's a child.
Yeah.
I think the hardest decision for him in the next few years is making the right decision in terms of where he's going to play and what he should do. Should he move on from Dortmund? Should he stay on? I see no reason for him to leave Dortmund, really, at this stage.
No, I think if I'm Pulisic, I'm chilling for 4 more years, see what my stock is at 21, 22. And then, because at that point, it's too hard to judge how good a player is at 18. By like 23, 22, 23, I think you have a better picture. So give him 3-4 years as a top professional.
That's 5 years. That's enough 5 years, 23, and that's still young, 23 years old.
And then they can keep... sorry, go on, Connor.
No, but I'm just saying, like, then you can see, like, what level is he really? Because right now, he's obviously a top player, playing for a top club. But, maybe 2 years from now, he's scoring, 10 goals a season and 18 assists for Dortmund. Playing, you know what I mean? Like that still isn't there yet. So he's going to continue to grow, and then how he plays will determine his stock and where he ends up. But
I think if he stays at Dortmund, and if they can keep Dembele, I know Dembele wants to go to Barcelona. That's his dream. They can keep Dembele and some of the other younger players like Weigl. I mean, you're looking at a team, I think, within the next 2-3 seasons. I mean, they're in it this year. You could be a Champions League, win the Champions League.
Well, this current team were to stay together, maybe add a few things, maybe in the defense, but it is...
Yeah, defensively,
It's a very young, attacking, exciting team with some of the world's best young... Weigl, Dembele, and Pulisic are some of the best prospects in the entire world. So, dude, it's just...
And we're forgetting about Emery Moore and this other guy. Yeah.
All right, back to the game. Back to the game. I mean, we knew Honduras were going to play that back five, and... what helped the USA out, and we have to give props to Bruce Arena by just throwing all those attacking options at Honduras. And they really didn't know what to do. They really didn't know when Nagbe was running at them. They didn't know what to do when Leggett was on the field. Even Bedoya when he came on. Shame that Leggett went off with an injury, but
we actually have a Twitter question about Bedoya because I don't know how much time we're going to spend on him.
Okay.
I just want to get it out the way. Question is from Nady Bailey. At Nady, how much do you guys rate Bedoya?
Inconsistent,
not the most inspiring player, but has moments of good play, he's just sort of kind of irrelevant.
He probably feeds off other players because when he came on, he looked very confident. He looked like he, molded well into that team, but we've seen games where he has no impact whatsoever. But in those certain situations when you have Altidore, running the back, all over the shop. You have Pulisic running at you. You have Dempsey just doing his thing. You have Nagbe just on fire.
Yeah, it
So-
actually doesn't really matter because it's like as long as he tracks back and plays well defensively, doesn't make silly passes, it's like he just puts in a solid shift. That was probably one of his best games, Bedoya, like quietly,
fine.
that he's had on the USA team.
He's
He's
fine.
fine. It's just I don't know what about him, but I don't get why he's so boring. I don't know what it is. It's like
It's the
a
speed,
vibrant, like,
Mike. You love fast
charisma.
people. You love really fast people. So.
He's just yeah.
He's kind of a squid, man.
But I want. I mean,
Him and Altidore fought. I don't know. They had an argument like last week in their game. I don't know really what went on there though. But
and one thing I want to say about the goal straight after halftime. You know this new rule where you don't have to have two people. You don't have to play it forward. It's one of the first goals that I've seen where they've benefited from just passing it straight back and Bradley playing it over the top, and there was like kind of a weak defensive play from the Honduras guy, and I can't remember who just stole it off him, but then Pulisic just went
yeah, it
through.
was Dempsey to Al. Yeah, Dempsey like lost it and then stole it off him and then passed it to Altidore, and Altidore had the one touch to Pulisic.
Yeah, I don't think that goal would have happened if there was like two people taking that kick off, but that was more interesting in my head than I actually came out. But anyway.
No, that's the way it was. I actually didn't even know that. So that you don't have to play it forward anymore.
You can play it back. Yeah, right back. You just need one guy.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's a silly. It's like because it never made sense anyway. I mean, I guess it's you play it, then they can come get the ball, then you play. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, who was? Let's say who was the best, like comeback performer in this team out of everyone on Friday. Who?
It has to be Dempsey. Has to be. After missing, a third of the season, and then, you don't know what's going to happen with your heart. It's hard to predict, and him to come back and have a great start to not only MLS but score a hat trick in this game has to be Deuce.
I know. Yes, with all the heart, everything. It is Dempsey, but I've seen there wasn't anything he did out there that I'm just like, wow, Dempsey. That's just what he does, And if you have someone like Pulisic, who's drawing that much attention, you're going to give Clint Dempsey room. Well, he's just going to finish. He's going to do that. I was actually most impressed with as comeback with Nagby, just because, like you said, 100% pass, and it was just the way his style was just so unique. We've never had a player with his style on our team, who like literally draws the defender in. You really have no idea what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do when he's on the ball. All of a sudden, he'll turn and just be faster than anybody else on the team for like 8 steps. Like, oh, he can be that fast? I didn't even know he could do that. And then he'll stop and play it back. It's a total different type of fluidity. I'm not, it doesn't seem like American soccer. So it's pretty.
And when we did our preview show, we talked about the importance of Nagby and how big of a season it is for him because he's not super young anymore, and he turned down a move to Europe, and he's sticking with the Timbers. And his first 3 games for Portland Timbers have been outrageous. Some of his assists in the games have been crazy. But we really haven't talked about Tim Howard either.
Yeah.
Two big saves really for him. Had a great game, another clean sheet for him. But him coming back into the national team, he's definitely number 1 goalkeeper, and you got to give props to him coming back and starting for the team. So props to Tim Howard. I think that's a great comeback for him. But clearly, Clint Dempsey doing what he does best, scoring a hat-trick. He doesn't really score that many hat-tricks, but pulling together as a team, and 6-0 is just a absolute dream result for the national team. So one more qualifier on Tuesday night, Panama away. They did lose away to Trinidad and Tobago the same night as USA's victory against Honduras. So how do you think, guys, they're either going to set up against Panama? Are they going to go out with the same mentality? Is this another must-win game for the US? Or how are Panama going to bounce back from that defeat in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, I think one thing just before we get into the next game, they're having a few roster changes that could affect the way the U.S. go out and play. John Brooks, Michael Orozco, and Jordan Morris were all sent home.
So what happened to Jonathan Brooks? Was this dehydration?
Dehydration. Which I don't I don't know. As a professional, it seems like you're kind of unprepared for a game if you don't know how to be hydrated. I don't know.
You think it's just because if it's like raining, you just don't feel the need to drink water that day? Like you're just getting wet?
That's why. He just walks around with his mouth open.
No, he's like, I can't be thirsty. I'm wet. That's it. I thought it was. Because I was like, how do you get, because he like literally was like, he like lost his equilibrium. Like he was done, you know?
Mm-hmm. So he's officially been sent home, Jonathan Brooks?
Yes, so was Orozco, so we're down 2 center backs.
Jeez.
And then Jordan Morris was released from camp due to
Did they call anybody in?
Injury. They brought in Paul Areola, who is a striker for Club Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
He's been called up before. He's actually had a pretty decent start for Tijuana's season. He's bagged a couple goals.
That's a big concern. Not having Brooks.
Yeah. Not having Brooks is definitely concerning. So I think the center backs would have to be Gonzalez and Jeff Cameron, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes the most sense.
Playing right back, you're putting
put Zuzi on right back?
Yeah, Zuzi starts at right back, maybe.
Because he came on in the second half.
Yeah, for Cameron.
You have to have Cameron in the middle.
Cameron, shout out to him, though. He had a good comeback, too. He hasn't been playing for Stoke at all. He's been hurt since November.
Who had a bad game? Who were you like, yeah, he didn't play well? Nobody.
Do you think this is the best USA performance of all time?
No, because it's not. I think that I actually really like the 2014 Portugal game. I thought that was really, really well played.
Yeah, that was a good performance.
Except for the last play, but
it was some of the most. It was as far as like it was one of the most aesthetically pleasing performances, top to bottom, because you saw really, really good soccer and extremely high quality goals from, almost every goal was was a class goal or world class goal. Like, so and I think it was the most I've ever enjoyed watching the United States play. Just because it was, you're with your friends late Friday night and they're bagging goals and they're playing nice and the players who were supposed to be playing good are actually playing good and you just got to see the U.S. at their peak almost. So
no, and dude, you're right, and you get like with Pulisic, even though you're up 3, we've beaten teams before. Like we beat Scotland in some friendly like 5-0 or something.
Yeah.
We've beaten teams before, but when you have a player like him who's gonna, if he gets it in with any turns. You're just like, yeah, we could get another goal right here. Who knows? It's exciting to watch. You know what I mean? It's like watching. I'm not gonna make this comparison, but it's almost like when Barcelona would be in, the Copa del Rey or something against a crappy team. They're up 4-0. And when Messi was young, remember when he was like 17, 18, and it was still Ronaldinho's team, and Messi would kind of like, woo, this kid. It was like, kind of. I don't want to say.
I think we're getting a little carried away.
I have like a giant red, white, and blue smile right now.
But why not? Why not? Why not have these smiles? Why not be overconfident right now? And you have to take that momentum into the next game, and it's coming around soon, and it's in Panama, and it's one of the better fields in Central America. Panama. So going into that game, and Panama have come off that loss. You've got to go for 3 points, I feel, into this game, and we talked about before these 2 qualifiers, if it's 4 points, it's decent. If it's 6, it's great. If it's 3, but got to go for these 3 points, especially that they've lost and you're coming off a 6-0 win. I think they're expected to win now.
I think they are, but I think the approach will be a little bit more conservative overall because with that diamond midfield that they played, it left Bradley just by nature exposed with more ground to cover, and to credit Michael Bradley, he did a very, very good job of covering that ground. But I think in this game, away on the road, you've now had the injuries are starting to pile up a little bit between the guys like Johnson and Yedlin who never even made it, and now the dudes that are now getting hurt in camp. I think they might go a little bit more. Maybe
go 4-4-2 or something?
4-4-2, but more conservative. Because Arena took a big risk on Friday night by playing that diamond midfield. Because you just have exposed midfielders, and it's fine if you can play the formation right. But if you make mistakes, Michael Bradley's getting up there in age a little bit, and he's not the fastest player, and he's completely exposed in front of the back 4. So I think Arena took a kind of a gamble that paid off excellently.
But Bruce Arena knew that Honduras weren't going to pack that midfield. They packed the defense and not that midfield, and that's kudos to Bruce Arena and how he set up, because I feel like he knew how Honduras were going to set up. I think Panama are going to set up totally differently, and the way USA are going to attack is going to be different. So I agree with that.
I think I'm going to go against everything we've just talked about and go, I think they're going to go a 4-2-3-1. One striker, and you put because you got Jermaine Jones is back, so Jones and Bradley in front, and then the three you got the Nagby and it'll probably be Bedoya, I guess. Or
but don't you think that's over conservative if you play Bradley and Jermaine Jones, especially coming off that 6-0 win? If it's a 1-0 win, it might be a little bit of a different approach. But you're coming off a very good performance, a 6-0 win. Why not go at it again?
I mean, that's what I want to do, but I'm like, I don't know. It's on the road. It's Panama. I don't know.
But Panama, I mean, USA are ranked the third highest in this group. Costa Rica and Mexico are ranked high according to FIFA rankings. Yeah. Then comes Honduras, and then comes Panama. And Honduras are, a team who've qualified for the last 2 World Cups, and they did okay in the last World Cup.
So you say you just pretty much do the same lineup, except you take... who do you put in right back? Zuzi and Gonzalez and Cameron, and just go with the. And all right, I'm fine with that. But let me ask you this question: if you did have to drop a striker and go with like a 4-2-3-1, which striker do you drop, Josie or Clint? I think you got to drop Clint actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. You have to drop Clint. Just due to the nature of the formation.
Clint Dempsey's not getting dropped. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Maybe we'll go out and play the same formation. I got it.
Take Pulisic. You can't move Pulisic over to the right. He has to be there. Uh-huh. And Altidore and Pulisic. Altidore really set up a lot of the movement as the. I don't know.
I think the only player that he might sacrifice is Nagby if you're going to play a more conservative formation. And I know we've, praised Nagby through the roof, but there was. It's hard. It's a selection. It's a selection headache, and that's only a good thing for the USA national team. Really,
Did you guys get any N'Golo Kante-esque vibes from Nagby on Friday night when he was running back and tackling in the back of the midfield, or is that just completely out of left field?
Actually, dude, I thought that, and the way he plays, I was like, he should, market himself as maybe as like a defensive midfielder with attacking abilities to go to Europe, because I thought the same thing, because he's athletic enough and he has those spurts like holy shit out of nowhere. He's just like he can just beat 2 defenders and just open up all the space and then just play it to the attacking mid. You're like, well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's
so deceptive.
I don't know how Bruce can drop any player. After that.
But like you said, it's a great problem to have, and it's nice to have this problem. Selection problems are good problems when you have a surplus of performing players.
I guess I could go with the same lineup. So.
How do you think? We've talked about Bruce Arena coming back. A few people have said with USA going back in time, but are you happy with the manager? Are you happy? Obviously, the coaching. After the January camp, he's been questioned, and the way he's come back as well as a coach is very impressive.
No doubt. I was excited when Arena came back. I honestly thought he was the right man for the current job and the current situation. It's kind of a unique situation. We're halfway through the next World Cup cycle, and you need a guy just to get the job done for 2 years. And I think he's brilliant. He knows the players. He knows what he's working with. He knows how to do it. And
yeah, dude, you look at Michael Bradley and his energy level and everything. It's just you can just see the whole team.
Uh-huh.
I think they're going to end up giving a lot of credit to Klinsmann in the future coming time to just maybe challenging some players for certain things and making things kind of wacky and shit like that. But the players now are so excited that they have their roles, and that Bradley knows what his role is and where they look so much more committed than they did under Klinsmann.
Mike, this is the most excited I've heard you in years. You're so excited. So excited.
No, it was good, man. I mean, I brought all the people I watched it with, none of them like soccer, and all of them were into it to almost where they remembered a couple players' names. But then I talked to them today, and none of them remembered.
So scenario, they go to Panama on Tuesday, they lose. Is this a step forward, 2 steps back?
All right, I told you before the podcast. Listen, let's be honest. They're not losing. They're gonna win. It's like, come on, you just book it. They're gonna give up a goal. They get 4-1. It's gonna be 4-1.
All right. I mean, yeah, I feel like USA are going to qualify. The first two games, didn't go as well according to plan. This is a question to both of you, and you can answer it how you want to do it. Does the World Cup need the USA in it?
No. They don't need us.
They need it. I mean, it helps a lot.
I think it helps. Advertising, TV money for us, and I think that the United States needs the United States to be in the World Cup, obviously, because it generates so much interest. But I don't know. I remember just talking to whenever I get the chance to talk about soccer with foreign people, and I ask them what do you think when you watch the national team, the United States in the World Cup? And no, I've never heard anyone say they don't enjoy it, because every game is so excited, and we're always the underdogs, and we always are fighting and getting results that we probably shouldn't be. And I think we had a lot of entertainment to the cup, but I don't know if we're needed.
Well, for the World Cup, I got two things real quick. For the World Cup, yes, you want America there. It's the biggest market, whatever. I am a little concerned with the Russia and all this propaganda stuff going on. I'm concerned that it's going to be used as a political. They're going to make us boycott something. I don't know. I just don't. That's a whole different thing. I hope to God that I'm wrong with all that. But the thing I want to say is dude, watching them play this last game, it really looked like they were like the San Antonio Spurs or something. It was like this team is just a good team. It was the first time I've ever been watching them play in an actual game that mattered, where I'm like, my team is just good. It's not like, we're winning because Donovan had a great run. He's fast. It was like the team just looks like they're going to do some damage.
But the last qualifier against Costa Rica away 3 months ago was a different story.
Well, a lot has changed since November. I think we can all agree. Klinsmann out, yo! Klinsmann out. Bruce in. Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, any predictions for the Panama game? I know Mexico beat Costa Rica at home, so I mean, it's starting to kind of mold into place this group now, and I don't see the USA losing. Do you see any predictions score-wise on Tuesday night?
Saying 2-0 to the good guys.
Oh, I called it a 4-1 USA. We're gonna give one up. We'll give one up, but 4-1. Yeah.
All right.
I think this kid is gonna be on another level confidence-wise, and he's just. I think Pulisic's gonna torch him again, and Dempsey's gonna probably get another. How about this prediction? Dempsey ties Donovan. He gets 2. He might get 2 more in this one. I don't know. Actually, probably Josie's probably going to get some goals. Wow, I just sound like a fucking super dork fan right now. Josie's going to score, guys. Oh, no, maybe Dempsey's going to score. I don't know. My team's so good. So excited. Oh, wait, one more question before we get done.
We are running out of time.
Yeah, no, we got to go. MLS. This was one of the... No one's talked about it yet. I felt like this was a stamp to the MLS has arrived as a league where you will not lose your skill for international play.
Not yet.
You still think if you move to the MLS, you're dropping down in your ability to compete internationally if you're a player?
Obviously, players are getting picked now for the national team that are playing in the MLS who weren't before, so the door's not closed there. But let's be realistic here, boys. It's Honduras at home.
Let's not be realistic here, boys.
I'll say this. Okay, you're not going to improve your skills in the MLS to compete, maybe in, let's say that. But I think that now with Altidore and Bradley and Dempsey's ability to perform, even in the Copa America, you saw some of this, that you're not going to get that diminishing skills that you might have gotten 10 years ago.
It depends I think it depends where you play. I mean, Seattle and Portland, great areas to play in the country, and Nagby and Dempsey have thrived out there. But then you talk about players on the East Coast at New England Revolution or at Yankee Stadium. Are they going to develop there? We talked about Jack Harrison not being able to develop as a player because he's playing on that field. he's running over second base. That's what's happening. He's running down the wing over second base. I think you just have to take it as your own. Each individual performs to their ability and they adapt to the games. And, definitely Nagbe has grown into a player that he wants to be, and he hasn't had to go to Europe. He hasn't had that pressure. So the door's open for him, and he's blossoming in the national team. So that's one guy. So
all right, yeah, and one more question too. Cuz Pulisic has gotten he's kind of has a spotlight now of the world a little bit.
Can I just say one thing before you say that?
Yeah.
Christian Pulisic is one of the reasons why this podcast exists, right?
Well, we did this 2 years ago too, when Pulisic wasn't even on the radar. But thank you. If this podcast ever makes us any money, we might have to give a kickback to.
Christian Pulisic is 1% of whatever revenue we get.
We're gonna give out free.
Well, hey, before we wrap up, just
hold on, I got one more thing.
You were saying something.
Oh, me? Okay. So what I was saying was, because these games are because of Pulisic, and I think there's a little bit more, maybe attention from especially European scouts to watch the USA because of watching Pulisic possibly. Nagbe's performance could, because I know he got something happened with the Celtic deal. I think the MLS asked for too much for a transfer fee. Could transfers start to actually happen, for a player like Nagbe from other than, it almost seems like it's like, let's give him a shot and whatever. But could teams actually look at a player like Nagbe as somebody to, like a mid-level EPL team, something like that?
If he keeps, if he's as consistent as he has been recently, then why not? I feel like a lot of MLS players will have, really good streaks, but if Nagbe has a consistently great season, he's on course for being an MVP. Like,
he's only 26, right, Connor?
I think 27.
Yes, 26, 27,
yeah.
One of the two.
He's on course for being an MVP this season, and if he continues, performing for Portland, and if they make a good streak in the playoffs.
Leicester City fixing up.
But yeah. All right, real quick before we wrap up, a small weekend for the MLS. Just only 3 games. I'm just gonna read them out real quick. The New England Revolution beat the horrendous Minnesota United 5-2. I think it's officially safe to say that Minnesota are cheese. You're cheese. So what's that? 6 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals, and 2 goals.
Wow.
It's not good enough. Aguadillo got a brace in that game, though. Shout out to him. Red Bulls tied Real Salt Lake 0-0, and Columbus Crew beat the Timbers 3-2. But Fernando Addy got another goal. That's 4 goals in 4 games for the Nigerian.
All right, and a big transfer this week in the MLS. Bastian Schweinsteiger coming over to Chicago Fire. So I just want to get your comments on that. I mean, I know you've been against older midfielders, less creative midfielders coming to the MLS. He had, he came to Manchester United, in a small fee deal. Only scored 1 goal, I think, in his year and a half. Yeah, year and a half. There, got shunned by Jose Mourinho. But him coming to the MLS, he's not the oldest guy. He's only 32 right now. He's only signed a 1-year contract.
Yeah, he sucks, though.
But do you see him sticking around the MLS for a few years? Okay,
he sucks. I'm actually pissed. And it's of course Chicago, which is the worst run organization, does this. Who is excited about Bastian Schweinsteiger?
I don't like his name.
Dude, who in Chicago is the worst team in the MLS now has an irrelevant German dude who used to be kind of good. I'm gonna go spend $25 to sit in the stadium. I don't know who benefits from this move. We already have Juninho and Dax McCarty, so now potentially one of those dudes is sitting.
No, why can't Dax McCarthy play more
higher pitch? Yeah. That's not what he is. He's not an attacking.
Hey guys, come to Fire Park Stadium, whatever they call it, and watch this plotting defensive midfielder who looks like a fucking army general just sort of hang out in the midfield and fucking no.
Yeah, no one is excited. I literally forgot that deal happened. Dude, it's just not a move. And I know that I've been critical, but it's just not the move the Fire needed to get better either. Their midfield is arguably their strongest point right now. It's just they suck.
And one more thing. I know we're going, and everyone's how many one more things? People are like listening to this long in the podcast, about to shut it off. But listen, I was right. Why is MLS playing this week? Just stop. Just stop. Yo, you tell me Portland's probably most important player is not there, so they get no points. They lose 3-2, and their most important player is playing at an international break. I mean, you put Nagby on that. I mean, maybe they win the game. Maybe that's 3 points. I think the MLS, to take them even more seriously, that should be the next step. Stop playing games during international breaks. Figure it out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other country that plays domestic games while the national team's playing. Maybe a couple, but
I know some of the countries, the lower divisions, will keep playing. Like League One or League Two might have matches this week in England, but everyone else that has half a brain and has any care of tradition takes the weekend off.
Well, that's unfair.
Oh yeah, you made your point about the Timbers is spot on. That's one of the best players in the league, not on their team, and their team goes and loses, and that's 3 points down the drain.
And affects Nagby's money in the long run too, because he gets compared stat wise to other players in the league who might have played 4 or 5 more games because they can't get on the Argentinian squad. They're like the 7th or 10th striker, but in the MLS they kill it. And then Nagby, it affects a lot of things. I don't, whatever. I just think the MLS should just stop. And I get it. You're not a crap league anymore. Attendance is more than the NHL. You are doing well. Now, let's double down and treat yourselves like more of like the European leagues.
Well, we're American, dude. We do things our way.
Fuck yeah, you're right. My bad.
I agree with that. But yeah, congratulations, guys, on 3 points. Back up to 4th place in the group. Looking forward to the game on Tuesday. Probably go around yours this time, Connor. But yeah.
What time's the game Tuesday? And we know the time.
10 p.m. 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Oh, these late
coverage
kickoffs.
Coverage starts 9:30. 10 p.m. kickoff on beIN Sport. I just purchased beIN Sports yesterday, and I did nothing but watch beIN Sports since I purchased it. It is the best thing in the world. So shout out to beIN and all you do for the culture.
Yeah, I just watched England-Lithuania on non-HD, Fox Sports 2.
2-0?
Yeah, 2-0. Finished.
Okay.
Unbeaten in 34 qualifiers for 8 years now. Yeah.
Congratulations, buddy.
There you go, bud.
There you go. So we'll see you in Russia.
Sounds like fun.
It'd be great if we're in the same group. But yeah, thanks everyone again for tuning in. Always tweet us with your questions. Connor does a fantastic...
Rate and review on iTunes.
Yes, rate and review. Rate and review. All right, so
rate and review.
Yelling at people.
Please rate and review. Tweet us at The Third Touch. But thanks again. And good luck, USA.
All right. Later, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
The big stuff. Who do you think you are? It's the big stuff. You're never gonna get